All right, we are live. Yes, sir, we are live. Let's get it, baby. Let's go, let's go, let's go. What's good, everybody? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We got some Sixers talk here today, talking about the new look 76ers, some adjustments we made to the roster. Obviously, everyone knows what it is. So let's get right into it. Let me send out every notification, and we going to get into everything. Let's get it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. If you are new, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We are very, very close. We are at 923 as we speak. So I would appreciate if you guys hit the like and subscribe button. And yes, sir. So let me send out these notifications real quick, and we're gonna get into everything, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go, man. Let's have a fun stream today. I just wanted to sit here, talk Sixers for maybe an hour or so, and yeah, we gonna. I'm gonna definitely be doing this more often on days the Sixers don't play. So definitely be on the lookout for that. All-Star break is coming up. I got a live stream on Friday with my guy Corrupts. We're going to be talking about everything around the All-Star game, the three-point contest, the dunk contest, even the Rising Stars challenge. So let's get it. But let me send out the notifications so that way we can get people in here, let the chat build up, and we're going to start talking. We're going to start chatting about these Sixers, man. We got a lot to discuss. Got a lot to discuss, but how is everyone doing today? Everyone coming in the chat and stuff like that. How is everyone doing? Everyone all right? Everyone all right, man? Let's go. Should be a fun day in the sports world, fun day in the Sixers world. Let's get it. Let's go. Let me just send out this last noti, and we are good to go. Let's go, baby. But let's get it, man. I'm excited. Excited. All right. Send out the last notification. Let's go. So, ladies and gentlemen, today, today, we got to talk about the 76ers. Made a trade at the trade deadline. Obviously, had the trade deadline live stream. I made a video about it. You guys already know how I feel about it. But, man, it is just so great to just finally get the man, Ben Simmons, out of here. But we're done with him now. We're done talking about him. And now let's go and let's discuss the Sixers, the new look 76ers. As you guys see on the thumbnail and on my screen, these are pictures of James Harden in practice. I believe today was his first practice today. And honestly, James Harden looks like he wants to be here. He looks happy. Him and Embiid engaging with each other, just being mutual, just amazing teammates for each other. And just seeing him work out and take some shots with Tyrese Maxey was amazing. So James Harden on his first day of practice looked great. He looked engaged. He looked like he wanted to be a part of the Sixers organization, and that is honestly just great to see. You know, when a guy gets traded here, obviously there was reports Harden wanted to be here, but you kind of have that question: did he get traded because he wanted out, or did he get traded because the team forced him out or the team was done? You always have that minor thought in the back of your head: does this guy actually want to be here, or did he just want to get out that old situation? But it seemed like he genuinely wants to be a Sixer, and that's great. What's up, Benji? How you doing? And yeah, man, yeah, it just seems like Harden wants to be here right now. But I got a couple of clips that I want you guys to listen to that I'm gonna play for you guys. It was Doc Rivers discussing James Harden and how he did in practice today, and other things going around. So I'm gonna play these clips for y'all, and then I'm gonna give y'all my thoughts on everything going on. So let's go, man. Let's go. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I'm excited. All right, so here we go right here. All right, I'm gonna play this for y'all. Make sure it's loud enough. All right, let's go.
He did everything, we didn't do anything live, but we did all the skeleton work, all the, defensive walkthrough stuff, all the shooting. We did everything everybody else did. It was just, obviously he's
So right there on the first clip that I played for you guys, Doc Rivers was basically saying he was asked the question. For some reason, they didn't have the question in here, but he was asked, how was Harden in practice? Was he limited? What was going on? And basically, what Doc Rivers said, as you guys heard, he did everything the rest of the team did, no limitations, and that's great to see, man. I mean, the fact that his first practice with the team, and he doesn't want to be eased in. He wants to participate just like the rest of the team is participating. I mean, that's exactly what I want to see. So that was the first question Doc was asked.
high IQ basketball player, so a lot of the things we do is stuff he does anyway, and some of the other things we just threw him out there and had him do it, and he kind of figured
So for some reason, I can't hear the people that are asking him the question because you hear like the basketball dribblings in the background. Um, but yeah, that was the main clip I wanted to show you guys. So, I mean, it's just great. It's just great. But you know, I have it up here. You see the big text that says the new look 76ers. And what does that look like exactly? Well, the offense is definitely going to change 100%. I mean, you have an elite guard like Harden coming into your offense who can handle the ball very well, who can shoot the ball very well. He absorbs a lot of contact, gets a lot of foul calls, gets to the line, gets a lot of and ones. He can shoot the three ball very well. He can run the pick and roll and the pick and pop very well with big men. So that is something that we're gonna see a lot more, and that is something that Embiid might have to adjust to a little bit. Embiid running the pick and pop is definitely gonna be a big part of this offense, and it's gonna open up things for guys around our star players. Is the pick and pop with Embiid and Harden is gonna open up a lot of things for Tyrese Maxey. It's gonna open up a lot of things for shooters like Danny Green, guys like Tobias Harris to get one-on-one mismatch opportunities. And I think that's the biggest thing: the pick and roll, the pick and pop. Now Embiid doesn't roll as much, but I don't think that's gonna be a big issue, because the pick and pop is still gonna be the best pick and pop in the league. No one's gonna be able to run it better with the type of players we have that are gonna be running it. Now, how does this also change the team? Well, it's going to change Tyrese Maxey's role. It will. Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, their roles are going to definitely go down a little bit. But that's okay. That's actually better for both of them because we all know Tobias Harris drives when he's the number three option or the fourth option. He doesn't thrive as the number one option or number two. He's just not that type of guy. But when he's the number three or number four, you definitely see Tobias Harris thrive. He plays more efficiently. He plays more confident when all the pressure is not on him to be the first or second best player on the team. When he has none of the spotlight and he can just go and play basketball, that is when Tobias Harris is at his best, man. And Maxi, as far as his role decreasing, this is going to be even better for him because Maxi is going to be the guy who thrives off of this the most because you're learning from a guy like James Harden, such a skilled scorer, such a skilled ISO guy, can run the pick and pop, can run the pick and roll as the main ball handler in an offense. Maxi's going to learn from that. He's going to add some things to his game that he's going to learn from a guy like Harden. You know, he's gonna be a better ISO scorer as he gets later into his career. And we all know, obviously, James Harden, he's 32. He's not gonna be here forever. But the big thing is, Maxi will be here for a very long time, at least from what it looks like right now. So Maxi's gonna be feeding off of this very well. Maxi's gonna be feeding off of this, and I can't wait, man. I can't wait. So that's the biggest thing in my opinion. I feel like, Maxi. I feel like Tobias Harris. I feel like they're gonna thrive off this. I think they're gonna thrive off of this move, and it's honestly good for them both. You know, those guys can really thrive. Playing off the ball a little bit more, or Tobias Harris can really thrive off of being the third option, and that's great. But we got Nathaniel in the chat. What's up, Nathaniel? Let's go, baby. Let's get it. So that was fun. So it seems like the Sixers practice was good today. Seems like practice was good. Now. James Harden, when will he play? Well, it has already been made that he will not be playing um, before the All Star break. So you will not see him on Tuesday against the Boston Celtics, which is tomorrow. I'll be live for that, so come check it out. And James Harden will not be available on Thursday versus the Milwaukee Bucks. He'll not play the All Star game as well. So he'll be back next week. So I'm honestly fine with that. I mean, he's not going to get any reps or any games in before the All Star break. He'd rather, make sure his hamstring's good, get more in tune with the team in practice, and then come out and play after the All Star break. And like I said, I'm completely fine with that. That's fine with me. That's fine with me. He wants to stay. He wants to get healthy and do all those things. I mean, it's great, man. It's great. So, um, let's go. Let's go. I'm ready for that. He won't play probably until sometime next week, and I'm fine with that. But ladies and gentlemen, March 10th, 2022. Now you might ask, why did you just say a random date? Well, on March 10th, 2022, Ben Simmons is gonna be bringing his Brooklyn Nets. Well, not his. Kevin Durant is going to be bringing his Brooklyn Nets here to Philadelphia to play the Sixers. And not only that, Ben Simmons is going to be coming with them. Now, Ben Simmons, if he finds a way to not play that game, that's just tough. That would be a tough thing. We all know with Sixers fans how we're gonna boo him and stuff. So, but March 10th, man, it's gonna be crazy. But let's read this comment right here. Brother BKL Contreras says, that's strange. Is he still injured? I don't think. I mean, he looked good from the practice clips that I've seen, but I think he just wants to rest his hamstring until after the All Star break. I think that's what it is. But hey, I just seen you just subscribed to the channel. Said appreciate you for subbing up, man. But yeah. So that's what that is. But yeah, back to what I was saying though about Ben Simmons and KD and all those guys coming here, man. March 10th, 2022, next month, you can book it. You already know who's gonna be live for that. This guy right here, I'm gonna be live for that on this channel, and I just genuinely cannot wait. I can't wait until Ben Simmons comes here. All the boos, all the just everything, man, just everything, all the cheers. When Ben Simmons has to go out and guard one of our guys, and it's just gonna be fun. Nathaniel asked a question. He said you're gonna get a Harden jersey. Oh, I was actually thinking about that earlier. But the next time I have money available to myself, or someone offers to buy me a jersey, I need to get a new Joel Embiid jersey because of the fact that my other one I can't fit anymore. I grew out of my other Embiid, so I had to get a new Joel Embiid jersey. So the Harden jersey might have to wait unless someone offers me or I have enough money, sometime soon to get two jerseys. Then I'll get both. But it's also other player jerseys that I want, like an Allen Iverson. So a Harden jersey is not guaranteed on my bucket list right now because the fact that I need a new Embiid jersey before anything, and I've been wanting an Allen Iverson jersey for like 10 million years. But I've opted to get other players' jerseys that currently play in the NBA before I got that Iverson jersey. Because when I get that Iverson jersey, I want it. I'm not even gonna wear it. I'm probably just gonna hang it on the wall or just have it. So as far as me getting a James Harden jersey, I don't know if I'll be getting that yet, Nathaniel. But if that answers your question, so no, not yet. But it's just great, man. It's just great. But brother BK L Contreras says, try it out if you could get it because to be honest, Harden jerseys really look clean. Yeah, and they'll be around for a while. I mean, as long as he's on the team, for this year and this next year, I'll definitely find a way to get me one of his jerseys by the time before he leaves the team. I'll definitely try to get that jersey because he's just a great player. But next, what is it gonna look like in the playoffs? What is it gonna look like when the game is on the line in the fourth quarter in the big game? You have Joel Embiid. He's the leading scorer in the NBA right now. One of the best players, the MVP frontrunner. How is James Harden gonna deal with that? He's got to come in. He's got to share the basketball with one of the best players in the league. And honestly, that's probably the most interesting thing. We all know James Harden is a very ball dominant player. He's a ball dominant guard. He likes to get his points. He does like to win, but sometimes just doesn't work out that way. But what is that going to look like? Well, I think James Harden he's going to come here, and I think he kind of knows that no matter what, Joel Embiid this is kind of Embiid's team, right? This is Embiid's team. The city loves Embiid. He's earned the right to call this team his. He is the leader. He's earned that right. Joel Embiid has earned that right. And even though James Harden's an amazing player, he can't just get traded here and instantly just take it from him. But what I think James Harden can do is no is Joel Embiid's team, but you're going to have to play at a high level in order for us to win a championship. We need you. We need Harden. So and I'm pretty sure the coaches and everyone around the organization let him know that. I'm pretty sure Daryl Morey let him know that. And like I said, he looked happy his first practice with us. So I mean, he looks like he's fine with that. Because like I said, we're gonna need James Harden to be him in order to win a championship this year, in next year, and however long he's gonna be a part of the team. And we're gonna need Joel Embiid to be him, but Joel Embiid has to have the ball in his hands at certain points. Joel Embiid has to play elite basketball. He has to get his points and he has to get his work, and James Harden has to do it as well. And I think that's all gonna come down to coaching. Doc Rivers, if his coaching is good, this James Harden and Joel Embiid duo is gonna be amazing. It is gonna be amazing. If Doc Rivers can do this, if he can coach this, if he can scheme both of these guys to play together at an elite level, this is gonna be an amazing trade. This is just gonna be amazing. And I'll tell you what, if James Harden and Joel Embiid play consistently great together, the Sixers are probably going to win the championship or at least make it there because the type of players that they are, the way Embiid's been playing this season, the way that Harden plays, how we know Harden can play, and the guys around him like Maxey, like Tobias, like Matisse defensively, and it's going to be great. And if this can work, if they play great together as a duo, the Sixers will be in serious talks and they'll be in serious business and they'll be seriously uh, trying to go get that championship. And it's all going to start with Embiid knowing what he has to do, Harden know what he has to do, and them knowing what they have to do in order to benefit each other, make the correct sacrifices for each other to help each other succeed. Because if them two succeed, this team is going to feed off of them. And that's the biggest concern I have right now is those two, are they going to make the correct sacrifices to help each other out? Because, like I said, if Embiid and Harden play great together, the rest of the team's just gonna feed off of it. The rest of it's just how it is. The rest of the team gonna feed off of it. They're gonna feed off of it, and that's what you love to see. But we got a comment here. He says, to be honest, I know Sixers will make it to the playoffs, but I'm not sure if they could make it to the final between bad injury and struggling every game. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. Like I said, if they work together, obviously injuries, knock on wood, if injuries can happen. But if they're both healthy, if they both make the correct sacrifices for each other, if Doc Rivers coaches this team properly, the Sixers can make a big run at the championship, and will be serious contenders. And that's the biggest thing, man. As long as Harden is engaged, he wants to be here, and he's buying in. Embiid, he's gonna do whatever he has to do to win a championship for this team in this city. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be good. I think the Sixers will be fine. I think this duo will be good, but only time will tell, man. Only time will tell. I don't want us the first game that these guys play together and they play bad together, and everyone starts overreacting. Up, yeah, it's not gonna work. But also, I don't want the first game they play good together and everyone says, "Up, Sixers going to the finals," because only time will tell. Chemistry is a thing that does take a while. We learned that from James Harden's last team with the Brooklyn Big Three. That if you don't play a lot of games together, you're not gonna have the greatest chemistry just because you haven't played a lot together. You had to get that. You had to build that chemistry over time, and this is something that Embiid and Harden have to do over time. But they kind of have to do it quicker because the playoffs aren't that far from being here. So that's the biggest thing. And Nathaniel says, "You think the Nets versus Sixers matchup will happen?" Well, ask me that question in like a month and a half when we kind of figure out where every team is and where there will be seeding. Because right now the Nets are the 8th seed or the 7th seed. They're in the playing game right now. But they haven't had KD. They're gonna get him back. They're gonna get Ben Simmons added. Kyrie's gonna play games here and there. So ask me that in a month and a half when everyone's healthy and where I feel like they'll be seated at to see if that matchup will happen. So I can't really answer that question, Nathaniel, right now fully. But I want it to happen 1,000,000%. Um, we got a comment here says, "Good point, facts. Time will definitely tell." Yep, I 100%. Nathaniel says, "And also, did Simmons hate the Sixers again? I'm refreshing what happened to him." So basically, Ben Simmons, after the playoffs last year, it was questions about if he can win a championship and stuff like that. Doc said, "I don't know that answer right now." And Beach said that the play that really lost us momentum was when Ben Simmons passed up a dunk. So basically, after that, Ben Simmons has won it out. He's complained about it, and he's out. That's basically what it is. And he basically said, "I'm mentally not ready to play here." When he did for that 1 or 2 practices, he did show up. So stuff like that, stuff like that. That's basically what happened, Nathaniel. Um, and it was crazy, but I'm not, like I said, I don't want to talk too much about Ben Simmons. Like I said, that's it, man. The past is the past. It's it, man. But ladies and gentlemen, before we get into other topics and talks for today's Sixers live stream, make sure you guys hit the like button if you enjoyed today's live stream so far. Hit the subscribe button if you are new to the channel. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers. That's the big goal for the channel right now. And if you can share it out to any sports fans or Sixers fans or Philly fans or just like I said, sports fans in general, that would be appreciated. We are getting close to 1K. Let's get it. But let's get in some other conversations, man. I want to talk about how this trade benefits Matisse Steibel. Matisse Steibel, first off, after the trade deadline, has been playing so good lately, actually. He's been doing exactly what we need him to do on the offensive side of the ball, and he's been the same, just elite defender, and that's great. But let's read this comment before we get more into that. Nathaniel says, "What worst case scenario for Harden and the Sixers?" Well, the worst case scenario is that him and Embiid don't have good chemistry, and we lose in the playoffs in a disappointing fashion. That's the worst case scenario that I see right now. But that's the worst case scenario. But we'll actually get into that. We'll get into that, the best case scenario, all that stuff. But let's finish talking about Matisse Steibel here real quick. I think the way that Matisse Steibel has been playing on the offensive side of the ball is going to benefit what we're going to want to do offensively, because James Harden and Embiid are going to cause a lot of attention from opposing defenses. As Joel Embiid and James Harden are going to cause some double teams here and there, some defensive schemes to scheme against those two guys. So what's gonna happen is Matisse Steibel, what he's been doing lately, when his defender goes to put his attention on Embiid, he cuts to the basket and gets easy layups time after time again. And Matisse Steibel's gonna have to do that when Harden is here, because if that's gonna be very beneficial. He's gonna get a lot of those looks, and Matisse Steibel is gonna get a lot of wide open shots. Also, a guy like Danny Green, a guy like Furkan Korkmaz, a guy like Shake Milton, if he does get playing time with Harden at the same time, those guys have to be ready to, when they get the ball, if they're going to get it, make a decision. Because Harden's already going to be a ball dominant guy when Embiid's off the floor and he's just on the floor. Harden's already going to be a guy who's going to have the ball for a long time in the shot clock. So when he passes you the ball, when he makes a decision, we have to make quicker decisions. And that's just not for the role players. Harden kind of has to do that too. Sometimes he does dribble down the shot clock a little bit. But we need to make quick decisions. Now, luckily for us, the guy we just traded for is averaging 10 assists a game this year. Well, so lucky for us that Harden is doing well in the passing department, because that's what we're gonna need, man. He's gonna draw a lot of attention in the scoring department, so we're gonna need him to make a quick decision with the basketball. Rather, he's gonna take the ISO scenario and score, or he's gonna facilitate the ball, just be a good ball handler, facilitate and create shots for others. But that's the great thing. That's the beauty of this, because we have such a good shot creator, a ball handler at the guard position now. We are able to do this. We are able to have all these things. I want to talk about another aspect of the game, though, and that is free throw shooting. Now, as you guys know, Ben Simmons wasn't very reliable at the free throw line this past playoffs. And we have one of the best free throw shooters in the league already, in Joel Embiid, who gets to the line at a very high rate. He absorbs contact, finishes through the contact, rather the foul is called or not. And that is very beneficial. And also, we added a guy in James Harden who also does the same. I was watching highlights last night, right, as I was going to bed, and it was just these random James Harden highlights. Oh, he got traded to the Sixers. Here's some highlights. Most of his highlights were and one threes, making them through the contact. That's the thing with Harden. Now, sometimes he does have an issue where he wants the contact before he actually focuses on the shot going in. But when he gets the shot to fall and people still foul him, he still gets contact. He is one of the most deadly players in the game, because you don't want to bump into him, but you don't want to just leave him scotch-free, wide open with no aggressive defense either, because he's going to torch you up with his ball handling skills, and he's going to drive right by you or hit you with the deadliest step back in the game. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy. And I'm excited, man. And I'm ready. I'm ready for this to happen. I'm ready for him to get on the court. And I'm just ready for this. So, I mean, any questions y'all have about anything else, y'all can drop them. But let's get into something else, man. Nathaniel kind of brought this up earlier, but the worst case scenario, if you guys didn't hear, I think the worst case scenario is, like I said, Harden and Embiid not working out, them not being a consistent good duo, and we losing the playoffs round one. That's probably a worst case scenario, because we're gonna make the playoffs. we're probably gonna make the playoffs. But if they don't have great chemistry or it looks a little bit inconsistent between the two guys, that's definitely the worst case scenario because now the rest of the team is gonna be kind of lost. What do we do? Who do we play off of? What are we doing here? Right? But the best case scenario is that these guys work together, these guys do great, and we win the championship. That is the best case scenario because when you trade for a guy like James Harden at this point of his career, he wants a championship. We won a championship for Embiid, and the best case scenario is a championship because he raises your ceiling. He raises your floor, but he also raises your ceiling as well. He raises what you can do, your potential as a team, and the damage that could be dealt. And that's just great. So I'm gonna look at the standings right now because I'm gonna make a little bit of prediction here. I'm gonna try to see, and I'm gonna look up playoff matchups, and I'm gonna just look at something real quick. So let's go. Okay, here we go. Here. So right now we got the standings. The Sixers are 34-22, currently as the fifth seed in the East, 2.5 games back of first place. Now in front of us is Miami, Chicago, Cleveland, and Milwaukee. Now, why do I bring this up? Because I want to see some potential playoff matchups we can have, potential seeds we can be at the end of the year. Now, I don't think we'll be the one seed. I don't. I mean, we're only 2.5 games back. I mean, a 3 or 4 game winning streak in Miami, losing a couple of games because we have the tiebreaker over Miami, we have the tiebreaker over Chicago and over Cleveland. That we could get the one seed. I don't think we will though, because we are gonna have some time where we're gonna find out how to use Harden and how to implement him correctly in this offense. So, but I think the Sixers will finish as the 3 seed. I think actually the Bucks will finish as the 1 seed. I think that the 2 seed is going to be the Miami Heat. Or no, no, no. You know what? Scratch that. I think the 1 seed is going to be still the Milwaukee Bucks. I think the 2 seed is going to be the Chicago Bulls. The 3 seed is going to be the Sixers. The 4 seed is going to be Miami. I don't know. I just had this feeling about Miami that they're just going to drop to the 4th spot. I don't know why. I just have that feeling. Like Miami's just such an interesting team because they've had a lot of COVID issues, but they really fight hard and they find ways to win. But with us having a tiebreaker over them, us having a tiebreaker over Chicago, I think we will finish over Miami. Now we could also have a scenario, right, where the 1 seed is the Bucks, the 2 seeds is Miami, the 3 seeds the Sixers, the 4 seed is Chicago. I can definitely see that as well. But who could be a potential playoff matchup? Well, if we stay at the 5th seed right now, we'd be playing the Bucks if the season ended today. But that's not going to happen. Us and the Bucks are going to climb. A potential series that I really see happening though for the Sixers is a series versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, the team who we played most recently. The Cleveland Cavaliers play hard, they fight, but the Sixers, a problem I thought we would have against the Cavaliers was that they have a lot of length and they have a lot of bodies in their lineup in order to contain us, but they don't. Well, they do, but it didn't work. It didn't work. They had Evan Mobley and Jared Allen out there on the floor a lot at the same time, and it just didn't matter because obviously our big guy had 40 points, 14 rebounds, and 10 assists. And a Cleveland Philly series, I do think we win that one. I respect Cleveland a lot. I think we win in 6. I think we win that series in 6. Like I said, I respect Cleveland. I respect the Cavs and how hard they've been fighting this year and Darius Garland and all that good stuff. But I think we win in 6 against the Cavaliers. If we were to play a team like the Celtics in the playoff series, I think we also win in about 5 or 6 games. The Celtics are a very hot and cold team. Right now, they're on a win streak, but next week they'll probably be on a losing streak. The Celtics are a really hot and cold team this year. It's hard to really gauge where they are. Tatum and Brown, they both can be inefficient at times. They don't play great together at the same time, as either Tatum's having a good game and Brown isn't, or vice versa. They don't play good together a lot. It's not often that they both have like 25 to 30 point games together shooting the ball efficiently. And if they do, one of them shooting like 50% from the field and the other one shooting 20% of the field, but he took like 30 shots, so he somehow got 30 points. So I'm not really fearful of Boston. I actually fear Cleveland way more than that. The Raptors are interesting, but I just think we have a little bit more talent than they do. The young rookie and Scotty Barnes is nice. I like Fred VanVleet and Siakam. Obviously, Gary Trent can be effective, but I just think we have more talent than they do, a little bit more. I think Maxi's a great player. He can match up very well with Van Vliet. Not to say he's going to outmatch Van Vliet, but he can match up very well. And B can dominate down low. Siakam can't really defend that. And then Harden's going to be, match up with Gary Trent Jr. I'm just picturing now. And I just think we got more talent, especially in our front starting lineup. And then Tobias Harris, he can be a big X factor there. But Bigford says, when you doing Giddy talk with Giddy, oh my God, bro. Bigford also says Cavs and 6, Jared Allen Mobley, stop Embiid. Well, they didn't do that last time, and they haven't shown that they can do that. So good luck with that take. But hey, we'll see what happens if we do. Um, Now, so those two, the Celtics and the Cleveland, I can see that being the first round series, and also the Raptors. I can also see the Hornets playing us in the series. I don't know. We'd have to get the 1 seed because it look like if they do make it in, they'll get the 8 seed. I don't know. We'll find. We'll figure out if Charlotte will get it or not. But now, if the Sixers were to play the Bulls, the Bulls have been playing very well this season. I think we can beat the Bulls. Not only because we beat them 3 times already this year, they have not beaten us in the 3 games we played against them, and we play them one more time here at Philadelphia. But I don't know, man. I don't think the Bulls match up well against us. They just don't. They literally, every time we've played the Bulls, it's been DeMar DeRozan, but no one else. Vucevic doesn't step up. We played the Bulls with Lonzo one time. He didn't step up. Last time we played Zach LaVine a season ago, he didn't do very well against us. The Bulls just don't match up against the Sixers very well. And I think if we play them in a series, I think we can just outmatch them because what we've been able to do against their team the last few years. They haven't beaten us in I don't remember the last time we've lost to the Bulls. Maybe like 3 years ago. The Bulls just don't match up against us. Since they had Zach LaVine, even their additions this year have not been able to contain us really. Vucevic has not been successful in the Embiid versus Vucevic matchup down low. It's been terrible for Vucevic. Okoro and Harden would be an interesting matchup. Okoro actually has been disappointing a little bit. He's been okay, but he's been a little bit disappointed. But that would be interesting. I'm honestly open to see that. And we can't forget about Karis LeVert. I think Karis LeVert should be in the starting lineup over Isaac Okoro. Because last game we played the Cavs, it was Okoro in the starting lineup over LeVert. Now maybe they like LeVert coming off the bench because they want some firepower coming off. But who knows? I don't know. But also Kevin Love's playing pretty good. But it is what it is. But yeah, back to the Bulls. I don't think the Bulls match up very well against us. I don't think so, man. I don't think they match up as well as people think they would, but we'll see what happens. I have a lot of respect for the Bulls team because DeMar DeRozan, even when the Bulls lose against us, he always finds a way to have a solid game, himself. But we'll see what happens. We obviously both teams are going to be more healthy in the playoffs, and all of that stuff. Rah rah rah. Blah blah blah. Cool. So we got that out of the way. So now, if we were to play a series, we about to get to the hard teams, and I'm saving the Nets for last. Now, this is if everything's working well for the Sixers, and we go in the series right with the Miami Heat. Now, this is a very, very tough team, and not even looking at a Sixers fan perspective, just looking at a perspective of an NBA fan, just a basketball fan in general. This is a tough series because you're going to have Embiid and Bam Adebayo match up against each other, and no disrespect to Bam, but the way Embiid is playing this year, I just don't think there's anyone in the league that can stop my guy Joel Embiid right now. And I mean, Jimmy Butler and James Harden. Now, you could argue that Jimmy Butler has shown more in the playoffs by taking his team to the finals. That's something James Harden hasn't. But skill-wise, that is a very good matchup. You got Butler, who's a good defender, one of the best mid-range shooters in the league, can shoot the three on occasion as well, and he can honestly create his own shot when it matters most. But he also looked terrible in the playoffs last year. So, but Jimmy Butler, he's performed in the playoffs here and there, performed for my Sixers in the playoffs. And that's going to be very interesting, his matchup versus Mr. Harden. Nathaniel says, I have a question, question. Out of the whole NBA, when health, who's the best team? The Nets? I actually think the Warriors are the best team when healthy. Steph, Clay, Draymond, James Wiseman, Wiggins, Jordan Poole, Toscano Anderson, Bielitsa, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody. That team is the Warriors when healthy are the best team in basketball. I think you could say the Nets, you could say my Sixers, you could say Chicago Bulls as of this year, Miami Heat, and then obviously the Bucks. I think they're all the top teams when healthy. But I think the Warriors are the number one team. But in the Eastern Conference, I think the Sixers, the Nets, or the Bucks are the best team when healthy. Bias me, speaking from a bias standpoint, I'm gonna say the Sixers, but I think the Nets are definitely still one of the best teams in the league, and the Bucks are also there as well. Those are the top three teams in the East, talent wise, when healthy. So, we gonna talk about a couple more things, and then I'm gonna get up on out of here. This has been fun, just sitting here, just talking to y'all, just venting, answering y'all questions and stuff like that. This has been fun. But we can talk about some more stuff. I'm not gonna leave just yet as B Hub enters the chat. Also, shout out to B Hub. We play a Celtics here coming up. And B Hub, we're just sitting here talking about right now. We already kind of talked about Harden and all that. We're just talking about Eastern Conference matchups right now, who the Sixers can match up with. So in the playoffs too. Talking about playoff matches. So I kind of talked about the Celtics. I didn't really disrespect you guys. I just said I kind of fear Cleveland and other teams over y'all. But if y'all would like to if you would like to tell your opinion on some if how a Sixers Celtics playoff matchup would go, you can. But that's kind of what we're just talking about here right now. Now, how would the Sixers as before B Hub drops his opinion? The Sixers and Heat. I want to finish that conversation because that's very interesting. Because like I said, I think Harden's a better player than Jimmy Butler, but when it comes to the playoffs, Jimmy Butler shows up more. I think Embiid is just gonna dominate out of bio now. Now. That might not matter also too because what the Heat do against Embiid is they run this weird zone defense that somehow messes with Embiid. That is the biggest fear I have against Miami is their defensive scheme against big men could be very successful. Now, I also have to say this. They did it against the Bucks once in the playoffs the year they made the finals in the bubble, but ever since then, that scheme that they run against big men has not shown to be successful. So Miami's a big question mark because if they defensive scheme that they use to stop big men, if it works, then the Sixers are going to be in big trouble. We're going to be very James Harden reliant in that series. But if the Heat kind of repeat what they did last playoffs when they got swept by the Bucks, then that is going to be uh that's going to be a good series for us, and I think we're going to win that one in about 6 games. Now, what if the Sixers match up against the Milwaukee Bucks? This is probably the most. This is definitely the toughest series. This is the hardest series for the Sixers, and honestly, I have to just obviously me speaking from a biased standpoint, I'm gonna pick my Sixers, but really just from a non-biased perspective, I have to be honest. I think the Bucks might be the favorite in this series if they play us. I know we have a lot of star power in Embiid and Harden. Tobias also can play well on certain nights as well. I know Maxi's a breakout player. The Bucks, they're still good, but they don't look exactly the same as last year's playoffs. But I think the biggest key in this series, for Sixers Bucks, I think we know Embiid and Giannis are gonna have their moments in this series. I think we kind of know Harden can have great moments in the series as long as he shows up in the playoffs, and I think we know Chris Middleton also the same thing with him. He can have good moments if he shows up, and I think the biggest thing is gonna be talking about Drew Holiday or Maxi. Who's gonna step up more? Those guys are gonna be the X or not Maxi. I'm sorry, let me repeat that. Drew Holiday or Tobias Harris, two veterans who've been in the league for a while, have gone through playoff series. Holiday now with championship experience. That the third options on the Sixers and Bucks are really gonna tell all because, like I said, Embiid and Giannis are gonna have their moments. They're gonna be great in this series against each other or against whoever, however that goes. Harden, as long as he shows up in the playoffs, he's going to be doing well. Same with Chris Middleton. But Holiday, even though Holiday had a decent finals last year, he had some inconsistencies in the playoffs last year. You had multiple people on TNT calling out Drew Holiday, telling him he has to be more aggressive offensively, and then he did that the next game, but then the game after, he didn't do that. So Holiday is a big, big question mark. in that series. Now I do think the Bucks will be favored in that series. They're the defending champs in the playoffs. They probably gonna be a favorite in almost every series in the playoffs. But let's look at what be upset. He said, "I would love to play y'all in the playoffs. I honestly think he could go 7 because of the bench depth and the X factor is Embiid. Can he stay healthy? How is Harden physically?" And I think you missed a point there. With I think your guys' depth with Derek White is definitely going to be a thing that gives us trouble. The Celtics' depth with Derek White can give the Sixers trouble off the bench. Now, if Shake Milton and guys like Shake Milton and Korkmaz, if they can be the six, or Shake Milton and like Danny Green, if they could be the 6 and 7 guys off the bench and they play well, then I don't think that would matter against the Celtics. But Derek White could be effective if our bench doesn't show up because right now he's playing very well off the bench to start off his time with the Celtics. But now the Sixers and Nets, I think this is going to be the highest anticipated playoff matchup if the Sixers were to go up against the Brooklyn Nets. I think really reason being is because you got the trade that happened, Ben Simmons playing in Philadelphia. But the thing is, right, the Nets against the Sixers, I personally want this matchup not just because Ben Simmons, not just because, the trade, that is a big reason, but the biggest reason is because Kyrie Irving's only going to be able to play half the series. Not going to be, as of right now, he's not going to be playing in Brooklyn. And when they do come to Philadelphia with Kyrie Irving, with Ben Simmons, how is he going to be mentally? The last time he played a playoff series in Philadelphia, it didn't go well for him. How is Ben Simmons going to be mentally in a series having to come to Philadelphia, Sixers versus Nets in a playoff series? How is that going to work? I personally do not know. That is a big question mark. I know he said he's been dealing with mental health, and that is to be taken serious. I know a lot of Sixers fans saying he might be faking it. I'm not just gonna go out and say that because I don't know what the guy is going through. Well, whatever. But Ben Simmons mentally coming here is going to be a challenge. And then when we go play a few games in Brooklyn, Kyrie is not going to be there. That's going to limit their offensive weapons because I don't fear Ben Simmons offensively in the playoffs. I only fear Kevin Durant. But if Embiid and Harden and Maxey show up, that's going to be great. And the thing about us versus the Nets in the playoffs and why I'm so confident in that series is because if Kyrie was playing that whole series, it'd be different. But the fact that the Nets are going to have to change their lineup every single game in the playoffs that we switch cities is going to be the key. Is going to be the key. The fact that they're going to have to switch out what they do. They're going to have to switch out their rotation. They're going to have to switch out guys' roles are going to change every single night. And that is not good in the playoffs. And that's why if we play the Nets with Ben Simmons not having the best mental, especially when he thinks about Philadelphia, with Kyrie playing half the series, with them having to change their lineups, I think the Sixers will beat Brooklyn in a playoff series. So that was just kind of going over every potential playoff matchup we could have. I've literally went through every team that's in the playoff picture right now. Literally from the 8th seed, the Nets. I talked about the Raptors, the Celtics, the Bucks, the Cavs, the Heat, and the Bulls, and then obviously we're the 8th team. If we play the Hawks, I think we'll obviously want revenge, and I think we'll beat them. They're the 10th seed, and then the 9th seed, Charlotte. I think we'll beat Charlotte. Honestly, we'll probably only sweep the Hornets because we own them. Embiid owns the Hornets. Embiid has lost to the Hornets once, I think, in the last like 5 years. We don't lose to the Hornets, and we own them. We literally do. But BS, there's a lot of uncertainties with the Nets, exactly, and that's why I'm very confident. And if I'm an Eastern Conference team in the playoffs, I might want Brooklyn round one. I might want them because that would be a big upset. Kyrie is going to be playing half the series. I would like to play Brooklyn. I would like to play Brooklyn in the playoffs, but only time will tell. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been live for about 43 minutes here. If you enjoyed, hit the like button. We're close to 1,000 subscribers, so if you can help me get there, sharing out the channel to any sports fans or Philly fans or basketball fans in general, that'll be a big help. I appreciate y'all for supporting. But before we get out of here, if you guys have any more questions or want to talk about anything else that y'all thought I didn't talk about or forgot about, definitely say it now before we get out of here. But Nathaniel leaves a comment. He says, "What about in the finals, Lakers or versus Sixers?" I don't think the Lakers are even gonna make the finals. Honestly, I'm not even gonna entertain that. I would like to answer that question. I just don't think that happens. I don't think the Lakers are making the finals. That just doesn't seem realistic as of right now. I'm sorry, but that doesn't seem realistic. I mean, we're talking about the ninth seed in the Western Conference right now versus a top five team in the East. I just don't think that's realistic. That's not realistic in my opinion. Lakers, yeah, exactly. Be up. The Lakers could get playing eliminated. Yeah, the Lake being having the Lakers in the finals is just not realistic to me. That's definitely having the Sixers in the finals might be a bias for me, but even that's just like the Lakers in the finals is just no. I can't see that at all. I can't see it at all. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens though. Lakers fans still saying healthy Lakers make the finals. I just don't see it. They're not winning a lot of games and they're healthy right now. They have AD, they have LeBron, they have Westbrook. They're still not winning games consistently. They losing to the Portland Trailblazers, bro. I don't want to hear anything when they're healthy. The Lakers aren't a great basketball team right now. Have great players, but they're not a great team. They're not a well coached team. And that is a problem. And once they get in the playing, they're in the playing round right now. They're not even a top 8 team in their conference. If it wasn't for a damn playing game, they wouldn't even be in conversations right now. But since we got a playing game, they'll get a chance as the ninth seed to get in. But just the Lakers fans, man, they just gotta relax, bro. It is what it is, man. This is just gonna be this is not gonna be a good year for them, and it's okay. It's all right, man. But any other questions y'all have, drop it now. If not, I'll give you guys a few minutes. But if not, we'll head out of here. This was a very fun live stream. Just come on here, talk some Sixers. I'll probably do this again on the Wednesday afternoon around the same time. So you want to come hang out for that, definitely be sure to do so. Um, we'll probably break down the Celtics game and everything that happened there, and we'll talk more about you know how the Sixers look after that. Stop by tomorrow for the Sixers and Celtics live stream. I'll be live. That game is at 7:30, so come out 7:30 Eastern for that. I'll be live for the full game. You guys know how that goes. So see you guys. A lot of we might have a video. Or we're gonna have content every day this week. We're gonna have content every day this week, unless something happens or I have to do something very important that comes up and I can't do any content that day. We're gonna have content every day this week. Hopefully nothing happens in between then where I physically just can't do it. But right now the plan is to do content every day, every Sixers game this week, and also days the Sixers aren't playing, we'll do content. So make sure you subscribe to the channel for Sixers content all week long. Make sure you guys keep supporting. Like the video, like the stream, excuse me, if you enjoyed today's stream. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We're so close to 1K, baby. Let's go. Good luck to Celtics fans tomorrow. B-Hub in the chat. All of you guys are amazing. Appreciate everyone for supporting. And we at 47 minutes and 50 seconds of this live stream, and we are about to be out. You've been talking sports with MG Nas, ladies and gentlemen, and until next time, we are out.